Admiral Kim Hyun-woo stood on the bridge of his command ship, watching the screens with cold eyes. The alien ships were attacking New Seoul Colony again. Red explosions lit up the darkness of space as the Velthari destroyers fired their weapons at the human settlement below. "Sir, we could stop them easily," said Captain Lee Dong-ho through the communication system. His ship, the Peaceful Dawn, was hiding behind a nearby moon. "My weapons are ready. We could destroy their entire fleet in 10 minutes. Kim shook his head. "No, let them think they are winning." The Admiral watched as another human building exploded on the planet's surface. His hands gripped the rail in front of him, but his face stayed calm. This was the hardest part of his job. For 3 years, he had been following orders from Earth. Let the aliens attack. Let them think humans were weak and helpless. Never fight back with full force. On the screens, Kim could see the Velthari commander's ugly lizard face as he laughed. The alien was speaking to his crew in their strange language, probably joking about how easy it was to beat the humans. Dr. Park So-jin walked up to stand beside Kim. She was a small woman with tired eyes. As Earth's top military scientist, she knew all of humanity's secrets. "The colony is reporting minimal real damage," she said quietly. "They hit our fake buildings perfectly. The real base is still hidden underground." Kim nodded. The humans had built fake cities on top of their real ones. When aliens attacked, they were really just destroying empty buildings and old equipment. The real people and important machines were safe below ground. "How many people did we lose?" Kim asked. 12 volunteers stayed in the fake city to make it look real, Park said. They knew the risks. Kim closed his eyes for a moment. 12 good people had died today to keep the secret. He opened his eyes and looked at the screens again. The Velthari ships were flying away, thinking they had won another easy victory. Far away on the Galactic Council station, Ambassador Choi Min-ah was doing her part. She stood in front of the alien leaders, tears in her eyes as she begged for help. "Please," she said, her voice shaking, "the attacks are getting worse. My people are dying. We have no weapons to defend ourselves. We need the Council's protection." The aliens in the big round room made laughing sounds. The Velthari representative, a tall lizard with golden scales, stood up and pointed at Choi with one clawed finger. "Humans are weak," he said in his hissing voice. "Why should the strong protect the weak? You are like small animals. Accept your place." Other aliens nodded and made agreeing sounds. The bird-like Creson delegate fluffed his feathers. "Perhaps humans would make good workers for our mining operations." Choi let more tears fall down her face. Inside, she was recording every word they said. Every cruel laugh and mean comment was being sent back to Earth's military command. But on the outside, she looked like a broken woman begging for mercy. We will give you anything you want," she said. "Our colonies have good farming land. We can grow food for your people. Just please stop the attacks." The Velthari representative laughed harder. "You will give us everything anyway. We take what we want." Back on his ship, Kim was reading reports from other colonies. The aliens had attacked 15 human worlds in the past month. Each time, the humans had pretended to be helpless. Each time, they had let the aliens think they were winning. Captain Lee's voice came through the speakers again. "Admiral, my crew is getting angry. They want to fight. It's hard to watch our people suffer and do nothing." Kim understood. His own crew felt the same way. For 3 years, they had hidden their real ships and weapons. The Peaceful Dawn looked like a simple research vessel, but it was really one of the most powerful warships ever built. Its weapons could destroy a small moon. "Tell your people to be patient," Kim said. "Every attack teaches us more about the enemy. We learn their tactics, their weaknesses, their ship designs. When the time comes to fight, we will be ready." Dr. Park was looking at her tablet, reading new information. "The psychological profiles are working perfectly," she said. "The aliens completely believe we are primitive and weak. They think our technology is hundreds of years behind theirs. This was the most important part of the plan. Humans had been in space for 200 years, but they had kept their best technology secret. When alien scouts found Earth 50 years ago, humans had shown them only old ships and simple weapons. The aliens thought humans were like children playing with toys. The truth was very different. Human technology was far ahead of anything the aliens had. Human ships were faster, stronger, and had better weapons. Human soldiers were better trained and smarter than alien warriors. But the aliens could never know this. "How long until the next phase?" Kim asked. Park checked her tablet again. "Intelligence says the Velthari are planning something big. Maybe an attack on Earth itself. When that happens, we move to the final phase." Kim nodded. He walked to the big window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, aliens were laughing about how weak humans were. They were planning to enslave his people and take their worlds. They thought humans would never fight back. They were wrong. On the planet below, the colonists were already rebuilding their fake city. They worked quickly and quietly, setting up new fake buildings for the aliens to destroy next time. The real colony, deep underground, was safe and growing stronger every day. The aliens would attack again soon. They always did. And the humans would pretend to be helpless again. They would let more buildings burn and let the aliens think they were winning. But every attack brought them closer to the end of the game. Every cruel laugh from the aliens was being recorded. Every act of violence was being remembered. Admiral Kim smiled as he watched the stars. The aliens thought they were the hunters, and humans were the prey. Soon, they would learn how wrong they were. Soon, humanity would stop pretending to be polite. But not today. Today, they would continue the lie. Today, they would let the aliens think they were winning. The real war would come later. 6 months had passed since the attack on New Sol. The alien attacks were getting worse and happening more often. What started as simple raids for resources had become something much more cruel. Colonel Baek Ji-hoon sat in his hidden command center deep under Earth's surface. On the screens around him, he watched live feeds from Prosperity 3 colony. 3 different alien fleets were moving toward the human settlement. The Velthari lizards, the bird-like Krisan, and a new group called the Mordok were all racing to see who could attack first. "Sir, we could intercept all 3 fleets before they reach the colony," said his second-in-command, Major Yoon. "Our stealth ships are in position." Beck shook his head. His Special Forces team, called the Hidden Guard, had been watching alien movements for months. They could strike anywhere in the galaxy without being detected. But their orders were clear. Do not engage unless Earth itself was threatened. "How many civilians are on Prosperity 3? Beck asked. 2,000, Major Yoon replied, including 500 children. Beck's jaw tightened. These were not soldiers. These were families who had come to build a new life among the stars. Now they were about to become slaves or worse. On another screen, he could see Commander Yu, Nari's stealth destroyer, Silent Thunder, floating invisible near the alien fleets. Her ship was so advanced that it could destroy all 3 enemy fleets without them ever knowing what hit them. But Commander Yu had the same orders as everyone else. Watch and wait. The alien broadcasts were being intercepted and translated in real time. Bayek listened as the three alien commanders talked to each other, arguing about who would get the best slaves. "The young humans work harder," hissed the Velthari captain. "We claim all workers under 20 years. The females breed. Better for the Krisan," squawked the bird alien. "We need them for our colonies." The Mordock leader, who looked like a giant insect, clicked his mandibles. "Mordock take the strong ones, for fighting pits on homeworld." Beck felt sick. The aliens were not just taking resources anymore. They were treating humans like animals to be bought and sold. This was exactly what Dr. Park had warned about in her psychological reports. General Han Taemin's voice came through the secure communication line from Earth Command. "Colonel, you are ordered to evacuate essential personnel only. Maintain the deception at all costs." "Sir, what about the families?" Beck asked. There was a long pause. "Essential personnel only, Colonel. That's an order." Beck closed his eyes. Essential personnel meant scientists, engineers, and military advisors. The families would be left behind to make the attack look real. If everyone escaped, the aliens might get suspicious. "Understood, sir," Beck said finally. He opened a channel to his evacuation teams on Prosperity Through. "This is Command. Extract Package Alpha only. Repeat, Package Alpha only." Package Alpha was the code for essential personnel. Package Beta would have been everyone. Bayek watched on his screens as his invisible transport ships landed near the colony's hidden military base. They would save about 50 people out of 2,000. Commander Yu's voice came through the communication system. "Colonel, my crew is ready to engage. We can save them all." "Negative, Commander. Maintain position and observe." "Sir, with respect, we have children down there." Beck looked at the screen showing the approaching alien fleets. They would reach Prosperity the Third in 4 hours. "I know, Commander. Follow your orders." On Earth, Admiral Kim was meeting with the senior command staff. Dr. Park stood at the front of the room showing new intelligence reports on the big screen. "The pattern is clear," she said. "The aliens started by attacking our mining operations and taking our resources. Then they began destroying our cities for fun. Now they're enslaving our people for profit and entertainment." General Han studied the data. "How many humans are currently in alien hands?" "Over 10,000, Park replied. "Most are working in alien mines or factories. Some are being used in gladiator fights for entertainment. Others," she paused, "others are being bred like livestock." The room went quiet. Admiral Kim felt his anger rising, but he kept his face calm. "What about alien casualties?" "Zero," Park said. "In 3 years of attacks, we have not killed a single alien. They think we are completely helpless." Dr. Shin Hai-won, the xenobiologist, stepped forward. "This is the problem, Admiral. Our psychological warfare has worked too well. The aliens no longer see us as intelligent beings. To them, we are just smart animals." Kim nodded. This had been the risk from the beginning. If humans appeared too weak for too long, the aliens might stop treating them as equals and start treating them as pets or livestock. "What are you recommending, Doctor?" Kim asked. "We need to show some resistance," Shin said. "Not enough to reveal our true strength, but enough to remind them that we are thinking beings, not animals." General Han disagreed. "Any change in our behavior now could ruin 3 years of careful planning. We are too close to the final phase." On the screens around the room, they could see live feeds from multiple human colonies under attack. The aliens were no longer just taking what they needed. They were taking everything, including the people. Admiral Kim watched as Velthari soldiers loaded human children onto their ships. The children were crying and calling for their parents. Some of the parents tried to fight, but they had no real weapons. The aliens laughed as they pushed the families apart. "Sir," said Captain O.J. Sung through the communication system. His hidden dreadnought, Righteous Fury, was stationed just outside the Sol system with a full battle fleet. "Request permission to engage the enemy." Kim looked around the room, at his staff. Every face showed the same expression: anger, frustration, and the desire to fight. They had the most powerful military force in the galaxy, but they were not allowed to use it. "Permission denied, Captain," Kim said quietly. Major Kim Yoo-jin's voice joined the conversation. She was the leader of humanity's secret fighter squadrons. "Admiral, my pilots are watching their home colonies burn. How much longer do we wait?" Before Kim could answer, a priority message came through from Prosperity 3. The colony's governor appeared on the screen, his face dirty and bloody. "This is Governor Lee on Prosperity 3. 3 alien fleets are about to attack. We have 2,000 civilians here, including many children. Please, if anyone can hear this, we need help." In the background, they could hear explosions as the alien ships began their attack. Children were crying. People were screaming. The governor looked directly into the camera. "If anyone from Earth Command is listening, please remember us. Tell our families we tried to be brave." The transmission cut out. Admiral Kim stared at the blank screen. Around the room, his staff waited for orders. Outside, Captain O's battle fleet waited for permission to save the colony. "Sir?" General Han asked quietly. Kim was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke into his microphone. "All units, maintain current positions. Continue the mission." The room stayed silent. On the screens, they watched as alien ships surrounded Prosperity 3 colony. The attack had begun. The hardest part was not the dying, Kim realized. The hardest part was the waiting. The emergency meeting was called at 3 in the morning Earth time. Admiral Kim walked into the command center with dark circles under his eyes. He had not slept in 2 days. None of them had. The reason for the meeting was displayed on the giant screen. A broadcast from the Velthari High Command. The lizard aliens were announcing their biggest attack yet. Not on 1 colony or 2, but on all human settlements at the same time. "Citizens of the galaxy!" hissed the Velthari commander, his golden scales shining under the lights. "Today we begin the great harvest. The human animals have spread across too many worlds. It is time to collect them all." Dr. Shin Hyewon, the xenobiologist, turned to address the room. "They're not even calling us people anymore. The translation shows they use the word for livestock when they talk about humans." General Han pulled up the tactical display. Red dots showed alien fleets, moving toward every human colony in known space. 63 fleets, representing 12 different species. They plan to attack 47 human worlds in the next week. "What's the target?" asked Admiral Kim. "Everything," Han replied. "Every human settlement outside the Sol system. They want to capture everyone for the slave markets." Captain O.J. Sung's image appeared on the communication screen. His dreadnought Righteous Fury was hidden behind Jupiter's largest moon with the rest of the secret Earth defense fleet. "Admiral, we have enough firepower to stop this. My fleet alone could destroy half their armada." Kim looked at the tactical display again. The aliens had made one mistake in their planning. They thought humans only had small defensive ships and basic weapons. They had no idea about the massive fleets hidden throughout the solar system. Status report on our assets, Kim ordered. Colonel Bayek stood up to give his report. Hidden guard teams are in position at every target location. We can evacuate key personnel, but the aliens expect to find full colonies. Commander Yu appeared on another screen from her stealth destroyer. Silent Thunder and the Shadow Fleet are ready. We're tracking all alien movements. They have no idea we're here. Major Kim Yu-jin joined the conversation from her fighter base. Strike squadrons are loaded and ready. We could hit their command ships before they know what happened. Dr. Park So-jin looked up from her data tablet. Intelligence shows this is just the beginning. If this great harvest succeeds, they plan to attack Earth itself next month. The room went quiet. After 3 years of attacks on distant colonies, the aliens were finally ready to strike at humanity's home world. They're treating it like entertainment, Dr. Shin continued. The attacks are being broadcast live across the galaxy. Other species are placing bets on how many humans will be captured versus killed. Kim watched the alien broadcast on the screen. The Velthari commander was explaining how humans would be sorted after capture. The strong ones would work in mines. The smart ones would be forced to build machines for their alien masters. The children would be raised as pets or servants. The breeding stock will produce more workers, the alien said, his forked tongue flicking out as he spoke. Humans reproduce quickly and are easy to control. Major Kim Yu-jin's voice came through the speakers, tight with anger. Sir, my pilots have been listening to this. They want to fight. They're tired of hiding while people die. Kim understood. For 3 years, humanity's best warriors had been forced to watch as aliens attacked their people. They had the best ships, the best weapons, and the best training in the galaxy, but they could not use any of it. Admiral, General Han said quietly, we need to make a decision. If we wait much longer, there won't be any colonies left to save. On the screen, a new figure appeared. The Supreme Commander of the Velthari Empire, an ancient lizard with black scales and glowing red eyes. When he spoke, his voice was like rocks grinding together. Human weakness disgusts us, he said. For years, you have begged for mercy. You have offered us your resources, your land, your very children. Now we take everything. The alien commander gestured to someone off-screen. Show them what we do to those who are too weak to resist. The scene changed to show a human colony that had been attacked the week before. Kim recognized it as Haven Station, a farming settlement with 3,000 people. What he saw made his hands clench into fists. The colonists were in cages, being sorted like animals. Families were being separated. Children were crying for their parents, while alien guards pushed them into different groups. Some humans had numbers painted on their backs. This is the fate of weakness, the Supreme Commander continued. Soon, all humans will serve the strong as nature intended. Captain O's voice cut through the speakers. Admiral, I have to ask again, why are we allowing this? We could end this war in one day. Kim looked around the room at his staff. Every face showed the same pain he felt. They were the most powerful military force in the galaxy, but they were watching their own people being sold as slaves. Dr. Park spoke up. The psychological profiles are complete. We know everything about their military tactics, their technology, their weaknesses. The intelligence gathering phase is over. What are you saying, Doctor? Kim asked. I'm saying we've learned everything we can from watching them. Continuing this deception isn't giving us any new advantages. It's just causing more suffering. General Han nodded slowly. She's right. We know their fleet positions, their supply lines, their command structure. We even know which species will abandon the fight if we hit them hard enough. Kim walked to the big window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, 47 human colonies were about to be attacked. Thousands of his people would be killed or enslaved. Children would be taken from their families. All of it could be stopped with a single order. "Sir?" Colonel Bayek asked. "What are your orders?" Kim turned back to face the room. For 3 years, he had been the perfect soldier, following orders, no matter how much it hurt, but he was also responsible for protecting humanity. "Contact Earth Command," he said finally. "Tell them we need to move to the final phase." "And if they say no?" General Han asked. Kim looked at the screen showing the alien broadcast. The Supreme Commander was now explaining how humans would be trained to serve their new masters. The old aliens seemed to be enjoying every word. "If they say no," Kim said quietly, "then we stop following orders and start protecting our people." The room stayed silent for a moment. Then Captain O spoke from his ship. "What kind of protection are we talking about, Admiral?" Kim walked back to the tactical display. He looked at all the red dots representing alien fleets. Then he looked at the green dots showing humanity's hidden military assets. "The kind where we stop pretending to be weak," he said, "and remind the galaxy why our species survived this long." Dr. Park was already working on her tablet. "I'll prepare the message for transmission to all alien governments." "What message?" Kim asked. She looked up with a smile that was not friendly. "The one that tells them to stop attacking us or we stop being polite." Admiral Kim stood before the main communication array in Earth's command center. Around him, technicians worked to prepare the most important message in human history. This single transmission would go to every alien government, every military, command, and every news network in known space. Dr. Lim Jun-ho, the chief communication specialist, looked up from his control panel. "All systems ready, Admiral. The message will reach every corner of the galaxy in less than 6 hours." Kim nodded and stepped up to the recording platform. Behind him, the flags of Earth and all human colonies hung in neat rows. This needed to look official. "Are we recording?" Kim asked. "Recording in 3, 2, 1, Dr. Lim said, pointing at. The Admiral. Kim looked directly into the camera. His voice was calm and clear when he spoke. "This is Admiral Kim Hyun-woo of the Earth Defense Force, speaking for all humanity. For 3 years you have attacked our colonies and enslaved our people. You have ignored our requests for peace. You have treated us as animals instead of intelligent beings." He paused, letting the words settle. "This is humanity's final warning. Stop attacking our people or we stop pretending to be polite." The message was short, simple, but Kim put all of his authority behind those words. When he finished, he gave a small nod to Dr. Lim. "Cut transmission. Send it now." Across the galaxy, on the Galactic Council station, Ambassador Choi Min-ah was preparing to deliver the same message in person. She had spent 3 years acting like a weak, desperate woman begging for help. Today, that act would end. She walked into the council chamber wearing a new uniform. Instead of the simple civilian clothes she usually wore, she was dressed in the formal military uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. The alien representatives noticed the change immediately. The Velthari representative, with his golden scales and cruel smile, was the first to speak. "The human pet has new clothes. How amusing!" Choi walked to the center of the chamber and activated the speaking platform. Her voice carried clearly through the room. "Honored delegates, I come before you today to deliver a message from the United Earth Government." The bird-like Creason delegate ruffled his feathers. "More begging, human? Your people grow tiresome." Choi smiled. It was not a kind smile. "No begging today. Today I bring a warning." She activated her communication device and played Admiral Kim's message for the entire council. When it finished, the chamber erupted in laughter and mocking sounds. The Velthari representative stood up, his tail swishing with amusement. "Stop pretending to be polite? What will you do, human? Throw rocks at our ships?" More laughter filled the chamber. The insect-like Mordock clicked their mandibles in what passed for alien humor. "You are welcome to try to stop us," hissed the Supreme Commander of the Velthari through his representative. "We look forward to the entertainment." But not everyone was laughing. In the back of the chamber, the Zephyrian delegate was quiet. The Zephyrians were an old, wise species that had ruled the galaxy long before the others. Their representative, a tall being with silver skin, watched Choi carefully. Thus, Etherian delegate, whose people were known for their intelligence, was also silent. Something in the human ambassador's tone was different, confident, almost threatening. Choi continued speaking as if the laughter did not bother her. "The warning includes a 72-hour deadline. After that time, humanity will take appropriate action." "Appropriate action?" The Velthari representative laughed harder. "What action can animals take against their masters?" Choi looked directly at him. "You'll find out." She turned and walked out of the chamber, leaving the aliens to laugh, among themselves. Meanwhile, in space around the galaxy, strange things were beginning to happen. Long-range sensors on alien ships started picking up energy signatures that should not exist. Commander Yunari's stealth destroyer, Silent Thunder, dropped its invisibility cloak directly in front of a Velthari patrol fleet. The alien ships immediately went to battle stations, but the human ship was gone before they could react. Captain O.J. Sung's dreadnought Righteous Fury appeared on sensors near the Velthari home system. It was only visible for 30 seconds, but long enough for the aliens to see it was 3 times larger than their biggest warship. Major Kim Yoo-jin led her fighter squadrons on reconnaissance flights through alien territory. Her ships moved faster than anything in the alien fleets and disappeared before they could be intercepted. The alien military commands started receiving reports that confused them. Human ships that were too advanced to exist, energy readings that suggested weapons, far beyond what humans should have, movement patterns that indicated a level of coordination no primitive species could achieve. The Velthari Supreme Commander received these reports in his throne room on the home world. His red eyes glowed as he read the intelligence summaries. "Impossible," he growled. "Humans are weak. Their technology is primitive. These must be sensor errors." His chief military advisor, a smaller lizard with black stripes, bowed nervously. "Perhaps, Supreme Commander, but the reports are coming from multiple sources across the Empire. Then our sensors need better maintenance," the Supreme Commander snapped. "Increase the attack schedule. I want all human colonies captured within the next week." But other alien leaders were not so sure. The Etherian Council met in emergency session to discuss the strange sensor readings. Their science minister, a being whose brain was visible through transparent skull plates, presented the data. "The energy signatures suggest technology at least 200 years ahead of what we believed humans possessed," the minister said. If these readings are accurate, we may have seriously underestimated their capabilities. The Zephyrian Empire also took notice. Their intelligence chief, an ancient silver-skinned being who had lived for over 1,000 years, studied the reports carefully. "I have seen patterns like this before," he told his emperor. "It resembles the behavior of a species that has been hiding their true strength." "Impossible," replied the emperor. "We have observed humans for 50 years. They are clearly primitive. That is exactly what I would want my enemies to think," the intelligence chief said quietly. As the 72-hour deadline approached, more human ships became visible to alien sensors. They appeared briefly, just long enough to be detected, then vanished again. Deep space monitoring stations reported massive fleets moving through hyperspace. The fleets were using travel methods that supposedly did not exist in human technology. Some of the smaller alien governments quietly began withdrawing their forces from human territory. The leaders of these species had survived by being careful, and something about the situation was making them nervous. But the major powers, led by the Velthari Empire, saw the human warning as weakness. They increased their attacks and began broadcasting them live across the galaxy for entertainment. "Let the animals try to fight," the Supreme Commander announced to his people. "We will show the galaxy what happens to those who threaten their betters." The clock was counting down. In 60 hours, the galaxy would learn whether humanity was bluffing. On Earth, Admiral Kim watched the countdown timer on his command screen. Around him, his staff prepared for what would either be humanity's greatest victory or their final battle. "All fleets report ready," General Han announced. "Hidden guard teams in position," reported Colonel Bayek. "Strike squadrons loaded and waiting," confirmed Major Kim Yoo-jin. Kim nodded and opened a communication channel to every human ship in the galaxy. "This is Admiral Kim to all units. In 60 hours, we stop pretending. Prepare for full deployment." The waiting was almost over. The 72-hour deadline had passed. The aliens chose war. The Velthari Supreme Commander sat in his command ship above New Sol Colony, the same place where this all began 3 years ago. This time, he had brought his entire fleet. 300 ships surrounded the human settlement, ready to begin the final harvest. "Broadcast this across the galaxy," the Supreme Commander ordered his communications officer. "Let everyone see what happens to species that dare threaten the Velthari Empire." The attack began exactly as planned. Velthari destroyers fired their weapons at the colony's defenses. The human ships in orbit put up their usual weak resistance before retreating. Everything was going exactly as it had for 3 years. Then, something changed. The human defense ships that had been running away suddenly stopped. They turned around. And when they fired back, their weapons were not weak anymore. The first Velthari destroyer exploded in a ball of fire that lit up the darkness of space. The Supreme Commander stared at his screens in shock. "What was that?" he demanded. Before his officers could answer, 10 more alien ships exploded. The human vessels that had seemed so helpless were cutting through the alien fleet like it was made of paper. Admiral Kim watched the battle from his command ship, which had appeared directly behind the Velthari fleet. For 3 years, his forces had hidden their true strength. Now the galaxy would see what humanity could really do. "All units, you are cleared to engage with full force," Kim announced on the fleet communication channel. Across the galaxy, the same scene was repeated hundreds of times. Human ships that had been hiding suddenly appeared and revealed their true power. Colonies that seemed defenseless activated hidden weapons that destroyed entire alien fleets. Captain O.J. Sung's dreadnought Righteous Fury emerged from behind New Sol's moon like a metal mountain. It was bigger than any ship the aliens had ever seen, and its weapons turned 3 Velthari cruisers into space dust with a single shot. "This is impossible," whispered the Velthari Supreme Commander as his mighty fleet was torn apart around him. Commander Yunari's destroyer. Silent thunder moved through the enemy formation like a ghost, appearing and disappearing as it destroyed. Ship after ship. The aliens could not track it, could not target it, could not even understand how it moved so fast. Major Kim Yoo-jin led her fighter squadrons in an attack that looked like a dance of death. Her ships moved in perfect formation, each pilot knowing exactly where the others would be. They flew through the alien fleet, destroying engines, weapons, and life support systems with surgical precision. The Supreme Commander tried to escape, but Colonel Bayek's hidden guard was already on his ship. They had been there for hours, invisible and waiting. When the order came, they disabled the ship's engines and weapons without killing anyone. The battle for New Sol was over in 20 minutes. 300 alien ships had been reduced to floating wreckage. The humans had not lost a single vessel, but this was happening everywhere. At Prosperity III, the colony that had been attacked 6 months ago, the 3 alien fleets that had enslaved the human population found themselves surrounded by ships they had never seen before. The rescue was swift and complete. Every human prisoner was freed. Every alien ship was captured or destroyed. The Velthari home system, which had seemed safe behind its powerful defenses, woke up to find the entire Earth defense fleet in orbit around their planet. Admiral Kim's ships had traveled across the galaxy in hours using technology the aliens thought was impossible. The aliens tried to fight back, but their weapons could not penetrate human shields. Their ships could not outrun human engines. Their tactics, which had worked against every other species in the galaxy, were useless against human intelligence. In 6 hours, the war was over. Not because humanity had destroyed all their enemies, but because humanity had proven they could destroy all their enemies whenever they wanted. The Velthari Supreme Commander found himself aboard Admiral Kim's flagship, along with the military leaders of every species that had attacked human colonies. They sat in a simple metal room, no longer the mighty conquerors they had been that morning. Kim entered the room wearing his dress uniform. He walked to the head of the table and looked at each alien leader in turn. "Gentlemen," he said calmly, "let's discuss the future." The Supreme Commander's red eyes glowed with anger. "You cannot have developed this technology so quickly. It is impossible." Kim smiled. "We didn't develop it quickly. We've had it for over a century. We just never wanted to use it." "Lies," hissed the Velthari leader. "Our scouts observed your primitive ships 50 years ago. You saw exactly what we wanted you to see," Kim replied. "Old ships, basic weapons, simple technology. We needed you to think we were weak." The insect-like Mordock commander clicked his mandibles nervously. "Why? Why pretend to be weak if you were strong?" Kim walked to the window and looked out at the stars. "Because we learned something from our own history. The strongest species is not always the wisest species. We wanted to understand the galaxy before we revealed ourselves." Dr. Park entered the room carrying a data tablet. She placed it on the table where all the aliens could see the screen. "For 3 years we have recorded every attack on our people," she said. "Every act of cruelty, every slave auction, every time you treated us like animals instead of intelligent beings. The data showed detailed records of alien military movements, base locations, government structures, and individual commanders. The humans knew everything about every species that had attacked them. This information will be shared with the Galactic Council, Kim announced. Every species will know exactly who participated in the attacks on humanity and what they did. The bird-like Krisan representative ruffled his feathers in fear. You cannot expose military secrets to the entire galaxy. It would cause chaos. The chaos has already happened, Kim replied. You created it when you decided to hunt us for sport. Ambassador Choi Minna appeared on the communication screen from the Galactic Council station. Behind her, the chamber was in complete disorder as alien delegates argued and pointed fingers at each other. Admiral, she reported, the Council is demanding an explanation for our sudden military capability. Tell them the truth, Kim said. Humanity has been a spacefaring civilization for 2 centuries. Our technology is approximately 300 years ahead of anything currently known to the Council. We chose to hide this until now. The Supreme Commander slammed his clawed hand on the table. If you were so powerful, why did you let us attack you? Why did you let your people die? Kim turned away from the window to face the alien leaders. His expression was cold and serious. Because we needed to know who our real enemies were. We needed to understand which species could be trusted and which ones would attack the weak for pleasure. He gestured to Dr. Park, who activated another display. This one showed psychological profiles of every species in the galaxy. We now know exactly which civilizations are honorable and which ones are not. The ones who attacked us will be treated accordingly. What does that mean? Asked the Etherian delegate, who had remained quiet until now. It means the galaxy is about to change, Kim replied. Humanity will no longer hide our capabilities. We will take our place as a major power, and we will remember who our friends are. The meeting ended with a simple announcement that was broadcast to every world in known space. Ambassador Choi delivered it from the council chamber. Humanity wishes to be left alone. We tried asking politely for 3 years. We hope this demonstration clarifies our position. 6 months later, Admiral Kim stood in the memorial garden on Earth. The names of every human who had died during the pretense years were carved into the black stone wall. Dr. Park joined him as he read the names. Do you think it was worth it? She asked. Kim was quiet for a long moment. Ask me in 50 years, he finally said, when we see what kind of galaxy we've helped create. Above them, human ships moved freely through space. No one attacked them anymore. The aliens had learned a simple lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one who was never really helpless. They had just been polite. The galaxy was a more peaceful place now. Not because humanity had conquered anyone, but because they had proven they could conquer anyone if they chose to. The difference between being strong and being wise, Kim reflected, was knowing when to use that strength. Humanity had finally stopped, pretending to be weak. Now the real work could begin.